Well, good morning. How are you all today? Been waiting to see what are going to be the early indicators of the the consequences of the bank collapses around here, and I've got enough information now that I think I'll be able to give you kind of some idea of what's going on and some direction. By the way, this is going on two channels. This would primarily be on the Prepping for Prosperity channel because it deals directly with the financials. But I'm also going to put this on integrative preparedness because I think, like so many things, out of bad things, good things will come. And I think that a lot of people who have not previously understood the importance of financial preparedness are starting to understand it now. Real preparedness goes far beyond the beans, Band-Aids, and bullets because we live in a world today that we can experience catastrophes that don't drive us back into the Stone Age and don't drive us into the woods, but we have to be able to deal with them the way the world is today, and the financial situation is so important. I know I've hammered that for years and people haven't wanted to hear it. That's why I put in the channel Prepping for Prosperity, because I did that for the people who really did understand the importance of financial preparedness. And so if you're not over there with us yet and you truly are interested in total preparedness, which includes financial, please join us over there. I put on the Integrative Preparedness channel, I'll put the link down there. Okay, I've got several things to go through here. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly because it's going to give you all the information that you need. And I may follow up later today with more if I think that it's necessary. To start with, by the way, the Prepping for Prosperity channel is booming, and we've got some sharp people over there, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity to answer some questions, some great questions for people who really want to ask me about what they should do as far as developing their financial preparedness. A lot of them already have, but some who really want to. That's been just a great experience, so thank you all. The first thing that I'll say is that Triple G, many of you know him. He goes by GGG Farms, I think. I call him Triple G. And he put a list of in the community section of the Integrative Preparedness Patreon channel. There are two Patreon channels, so you got to keep them straight. And they're dedicated to different things. In the Integrative Preparedness Patreon community section, Triple G put up a list of all of the stocks that have been halted in their trading today. And what that means, breakers are being hit through the stock market. I talked about this in the last one that I said this thing is going to be felt. We're going to have a cascading effect through all of the markets, the stock market, the bond market, the international currency markets, the real estate market, everything you've got, and you're going to see unbelievable unemployment as a result of this. Hi, buddy. So that was great for him to do. He put over there the list of all of those who have hit their breakers in the markets. What that means is they plummeted so fast, so far, that there are automatic breakers in the markets that stop them, and I believe it's at 20%, if I'm not mistaken. I could be a little bit off on that, but somewhere around 20%. Once a stock goes so fast, so low, it'll stop the trading on that just to keep a total collapse of the stock market. Now, as the financial markets go, the stock markets will be following close behind. So I'm going to read you a couple of things here. I'll just read you some headlines. I will put the links to all of these on the Patreon channel of Prepping for Prosperity. Okay, so they're not going to be on integrative preparedness because this is just financial heavy. I will put these on that Patreon, the Prepping for Prosperity Patreon site, so that you all can go through all the information on your own if you would like. So one of the first things that we had here was from CNBC this morning. It says First Republic drops 60%, and it leads decline in bank stocks despite government's backstop of SVB, which of course was Silicon Valley Bank. I'm going to have more to say that in a little bit. First off, I'm going to tell you something, but this Kramer that has been why anybody listens to that idiot is beyond me. He's this, what does he get, this mad money? I've known people who have listened to him for 20 years. This guy is a stone cold idiot. I'll just tell you that right now. But Steve, he's giving some good advice. He's an idiot. And he has a show, and his shtick is getting mad, okay? He's emotional. First off, don't be emotional about your finances. So anyway, it says here, first, the reason I brought him up is that just last month he was saying, SVB is the place to invest. They're solid. They're going places. Okay, time for him to go retire and play golf or something. Okay, it said, under this CNBC article, it says, First Republic said Sunday it had received additional liquidity from the Federal Reserve and J.P. Morgan Chase. Now, what does that tell you? Okay. The bank said the move raises its unused liquidity to $70 billion before any funding it could get from a new Fed facility the Federal Reserve created. We're going to talk about this in a few minutes, too. Created a new bank term funding program that will offer loans for up to a year to banks in return for high-quality collateral like treasuries. What is that? Do you understand what that's saying? Okay. First off, where are they getting the money? The Federal Reserve. They don't have money. They have a printing press, okay? And the federal government doesn't have any money. We're 31 to 36, somewhere in there, $1 trillion in debt. They're saying that they're going to backstop the collapse here with what? There is no money. They're doing this with paper, with ones and zeros and a printing press that is simply expected to be paid back on your back, the backs of your children and grandchildren through taxes in the future. Okay? Okay, that'll be the first one. Let's go to the next one. Signature Bank shut down in connection with Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Okay, I said the other day, this is going to cause more collapses, and people will say, oh, no, it won't cause more collapses. Let me stop this music in here. Okay. No. These things always spread. There is a cascading effect you have to be aware of. So it says here, federal regulators on Sunday said New York-based Signature Bank was being shut down to protect consumers and the financial system. That's right, the system, following the collapse of California's Silicon Valley Bank. You know who's on the board of Signature? Barney Franks, our good friend Barney Frankfurter. Here we go. The announcement came in a joint statement from the U.S. Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve. Now understand what's going on there. The Treasury Department is government, right? The Federal Reserve is not. It's the central bank. Did you all watch? I know many of you did over on the Prepping for Prosperity channel. Did you watch the video that I put up called Johnny's Cash, the smart money? That is, and it's all about this new push for the central bank digital currency. That is the danger that's coming our way. Now, we got the U.S. Treasury Department working with the Federal Reserve, which has nothing to do with the government. It's a central bank, a private central bank, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Company. They've all come together here and said, the regulators said, these are the regulators, right? Said SVB clients will have access to their money starting Monday at no expense to the American taxpayer. How does that work? How does that work? Since none of these people have any real money, where do you think it comes from? Well, like I say, it comes from ones, zeros, and a printing press. And who pays that back? We pay it back through taxes and inflation. Okay. All right. Let's see. Wait, I'm gonna hold that off and come back to that in a minute. That's going to be the final one. Okay. Another one from CNBC. First Republic tells CNBC the bank isn't seeing that many depositors leave, and J.P. Morgan is funding working. Okay. Jim Herbert told Kramer, mad money idiot Jim Kramer, that the bank was not seeing massive outflows of deposits and that the banking was operating. That's BS. Okay, because they're playing with words here and they're saying we're not seeing massive. So they sat around at a meeting and somebody says, you know, we have to redefine massive. Well, first off, it says it's not seeing many depositors leave. Again, that's relative, okay? But say somebody has $10,000 in the bank and they take out 9 because they listened to me or others, and they took out $9,999, okay? Okay, well, they didn't leave. So First Republic can say, well, the depositor didn't leave. Yeah, he pulled all of his money, but he didn't leave. Let me interject something here, by the way. I had several comments, and I don't remember what channel it was on. I have a tendency to think that it was on the Integrative Preparedness channel because, well, let me just say this, and I don't mean to be unkind. The people at Prepping for Prosperity tend to be a little more, how should I say, a little more attuned financially, okay? So, but there were a couple of comments that I saw, and I believe it was on the Integrative Preparedness YouTube side, that said, well, bank runs are caused by panic, and no, they're not. No, bank runs are caused by insolvency of banks and improper internals within the financial system that tells people, hey, you need to get your money out. You need to get your money out. And then somebody else said, well, but if everybody pulls their money out, that's going to cause a bank run. Look, I was telling Kelly about this. My old dear sainted mother, okay, had this kind of attitude that she was one of those that said, well, she's happy to pay more taxes if it helps the country. The country is corrupt, okay? The financial system is set against the little guy, and we have too many little guys, my mother, others, who said, well, I'm just willing to do my part and do my share. Hey, this system is out to screw you. To be perfectly honest, okay, they do not have your best interests at heart, and the bank runs are not caused by you pulling your money out so that you can have your money instead of it being kept from you as a result of the bank being held. Okay, that's not what's going to cause it. So you pulling your money out is not going to cause the banks to go under. Okay, they're supposed to, and the banks, if you, and some of you do, so I'm not talking down. Many people don't understand how the financial and the banking system works, and if you did, you would want to pull your hair out. It's unbelievable. Maybe I'll talk about that sometime over on the Prepping for Prosperity channel. Okay, so that's that. Okay, Western Alliance shares plummet 80% as bank stocks take a beating after SVB's failure. I'm just saying that again. I told y'all that what to watch for is it's not just those people who had their deposits in SVB that were far in excess of what they would be guaranteed by the FDIC, and why should they be made whole? Let me ask that. You know, the government is jumping in here with this, you know, we're gonna backstop all of this. With what? Why should people who this is like the student loan stuff, right? Why should people who took student loans and didn't pay them back, why should they be forgiven? And that money has to be repaid. Who's it going to be repaid back? It's going to be paid back by taxes on people who did repay their student loans and those who didn't even go to college because they didn't either want a student loan or had another interest, okay? That's immoral. And so is this. Why should these be backstopped? Why should depositors be made whole on the backs of people who did not irresponsibly keep too much money in an account? Simple as that. There's other ways to do it. So these people are not victims. Okay, here's from Not the Bee, and this is a great, and I'm not going to read all of this. I am going to post, like I said, all of these on the the Prepping for Prosperity Patreon site, so that those of you who really want to dig into this, can have the links and can really get into it. So here's the explainer. Here's how the government plans to stop more banks from crumbling and turning this thing into a full-blown banking crisis. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the government is full of idiots. Okay, if you think that, go back and look at the previous Treasury secretaries. Go back and look at the previous Fed chairman. These people, I could throw colored sticks in a pile and get better answers than these people with all their wonderful financial background. Okay, I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs here, and then I'll conclude this. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed spectacularly on Friday. Then yesterday, down went Signature Bank in New York. And the big three regulators, the Treasury, Federal Reserve, and the FDIC, had to work all weekend to come up with a solution that would hopefully stop widespread bank runs, leading to America's banking system collapsing like the Jenga tower in The Big Short. Their solution, which they announced last night, they're calling BTFP. Despite all the acronyms you could create with those letters to describe what's currently happening, BTFP stands for Bank Term Funding Program, a brand new out of their you-know-what idea that they are going to prop up the banking system. They're not calling it a bailout, the article continues. Remember, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said Saturday that there would be no bailouts. But yeah, it's definitely a bailout. That's exactly right. The Fed released a statement late last night describing a new lending program. Here it is in its entirety. Emphasis is mine for you skimmers. I should start talking about skimmers here. Yes, so I won't go through all that. Like I said, I'm going to put this up there for you all to read. What they're doing is they are offering guaranteed loans, year loans, to these institutions to make themselves whole. What do you think the chances of those loans being repaid are? And who do you think is going to repay them? It's not the banks. It's like taxes itself. Corporations don't pay taxes. They pass on to the consumer. Okay? Do you think these banks are somehow magically going to create some kind of money by the board of directors going out and setting up personal lemonade stands? Okay? Well, we got to pay back these billions of dollars, so we'd better go get second jobs. No, it's going to be on the backs of depositors. It's going to be on the backs of taxpayers. There's no way around it. That's what's going to happen. Now, the extent to which they might be able to keep the banking system and the financial markets from crashing, who knows? I don't think it's going to work, because they're not smart enough to do that. And the financial system itself is such a complex animal. It drives itself and elements within it to an extent that hardly anybody can understand. Just to be real honest, okay? So that's for those of you who want the short story. For those over on Prepping for Prosperity, like I said, I'll put all of these links on the Patreon side, on the Patreon channel. By the way, I had a great question from one of the patrons over there, and I was so pleased to be able to answer it this morning for you and everybody else over there. It is crashing. It's going to continue to crash. They might put lipstick on this pig and make it look not quite as bad, so that the people who aren't really paying attention will go, oh, well, okay, well, we came through. Okay, I'm paying a little bit more in here and a little bit there, and it's a little bit more, but at least the system didn't crash. The system crashed. Okay, it's like they're going to try to take this wreck, and they're going to take it to the body shop and try to straighten the frame and try to put a little, put new sheet metal on it and Bondo it and repaint it and present it to the people who will say, oh, look at that. Good as new. No, it's not. Inside, this is causing problems that's going to take this country farther down into the ditch. You all need to protect yourselves. Do protect yourselves, like I said in over on in the other ones. I wouldn't leave any more money in banks than you absolutely have to. There are other things to do with it. We talk about that over on Prepping for Prosperity. And to close this, to put a lid on this edition, remember that this and all of my videos are brought to you by the Stonemont series about how to prepare for, survive, and rebuild after a total collapse. And if you were prepared for this collapse, you're not having any problem during the collapses going on around you now. These are available: the reversion, the revival, the renewal, and appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom. I'm getting pretty good at this, aren't I? And the latest one, hostages to fortune. They're all available on Amazon, and they're also all available autographed from me. All of that information is down there. You'll get them faster from Amazon, but you'll get them autographed from me. And for anybody, and I can't do this next thing on Amazon, it's just not set up for that. But anybody buying the full set from me will also get thrown in a free copy of the Stonemont notebook. This is just so cool. I've been using this. People are loving this. It's for sale on Amazon. I think the cost there is $9.99. But if you get the full set of these books from me, I toss this in for nothing. And I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. Anyway, there you go. You all have a good day. Keep watching. Watch what's going on around you. And if you don't want to watch, just watch me, because I'll keep you up to date on what is going on, so that you can be prepared to make the best of things. So remember, on integrative preparedness, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And on prepping for prosperity, prosperity lies in your hands. Being knowledgeable about how money works, about how investing works, and that's what we cover over there. Okay, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.